When we stopped yesterday, we had added this little emoji picker button, and when we select an emoji, it console logs whatever that emoji is. And that object that we logged includes several different ways of identifying the emoji, one of which is the colons representation of that emoji, which is the one I think I want to actually store in the database, because I'm familiar with that from other things. So let's just try to do something with that. So we could, right now, messages look something like this, right? They have a body, they have an ID, right? They have an ID, they have a body, they have a user, they have created at. And what if they had reactions? The things we want to display about a reaction when we display them is what the emoji was, how many people reacted with that, and ideally a list of who reacted with that. So what if we stored reactions like this? Reactions as an object. The key is a particular emoji. So something like chipmunk. And then in there we have, well, then that could be an array. Let's say, no, not an array. Say emoji, chipmunk, users is an array. No. How about this? Yeah. It's an array of just users. Then we could tell how many people responded with that emoji by just getting the length of that array. So that should give us everything we need to know. Who did it, how many there are, and what the emoji was. And by indexing it by the emoji, it makes it very easy to tell how many of them there are and to group them all together. So let's see if we can do it kind of like that. So right now we are just console logging. So if we want to store the reactions on the actual message, that means we have to do this in the chat component, right? Because that's where the messages array lives in state. Here's our chat component, this.state.messages. So this is where we have to do this. No big deal. So let's add a new method here. I'll do it right under add message. I'll say add reaction. So what arguments is this going to need? What do we need to know in order to add a reaction? We need to know which message to add it to, and we need to know what the emoji is. The user we can get from props. So I'll say which message and which emoji. So message.reactions needs to be an object that we're going to do things to. So if it's not already an object, if it's null right now, because for all of the messages we already have, there are no reactions. We need to make sure that it's an object before we start trying to access properties of that thing, because you get that old familiar cannot read property whatever of undefined. So first thing I'll do is say message.reactions equals message.reactions or empty object. And then in this example, I'm basically going to have message.reactions square bracket the name of that emoji. So if that's not there, I need to make sure that that's an array. So I will also say message.reactions square bracket this emoji that I passed in equals message.reactions square bracket that emoji or an empty array. So now I know it'll be a defined thing before I start trying to push things onto it. Then all I really need to do is message.reactions square bracket emoji. Now that I know it's an array, I just need to push the current user onto there. Just make it an array of users. So this.props.user. And this is the part where we're actually doing it. Now we just need to make sure we actually update state with our new message I mean, it's an old message with some changes. So let's copy the messages array out of state. Const messages equals a copy of this dot state dot messages. Though that is an array, not an object. I forgot. So the list of rooms is an object. The list of messages is an array. Then we need to replace this message in that array. So we'll need to find that message in the array. So we'll use find index, not find, but find index, because we just want to know, the value of I basically. So const I equals messages dot find index. So each thing in that array is a message. Call it MSG since we already got a variable called message. And I want to find the index of one where msg.id triple equals message.id. And then I can just say messages square bracket I equals our message. Now with reactions. Then just this dot set state messages. Right, so the thing we store in messages is the entire array of messages. Or the thing we store in state is the entire array of messages. So first we just make sure that message.reactions exists and that message.reactions square bracket that emoji exists. Then we just push this user onto that list. Then we replace the message inside our messages array. Then we update the messages array in state. So this is add reaction. So this is going to need to be available down in our message component. So here's message list. That's where messages is, or where message is. So add reaction equals square bracket this dot add reaction. So inside message list, here's message, where we render each message. So it already has a key and it has message. Now it needs to have add reaction, which will equal this dot props dot add reaction. Assuming message list is a class, it is, yeah. So this dot props dot add reaction. So now in handle emoji select, we can call it. We still want to call this dot toggle picker at the end, but now we want to call this dot props dot add reaction and pass in the message and the emoji. So the message is already in this dot props. So this dot props dot message, and now this emoji, you remember, is that whole object that we had. All of this. What I want to send is just the colons representation of that thing. So I will pass in emoji dot colons. All right, let's see about this. Let's add hamburger. And then let's have a look at that message. So in our React Dev Tools, I will look at chat. Look at my list of messages. It should be the last one. And look, I have reactions now. And I have the key hamburger, which points to an array, which contains one item, which is the current user. We did it. Okay, so now we can add a reaction, but we're not displaying the reactions anywhere. Add reactions to messages.